Hello, Lori Michelle with another Moshiach Exposes Chinks in the Armor. David Rubin, the religious conservatives are not your new friends. I know you found a warm place to talk to people and you're being validated by Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson and Christian radio, and they're making you feel warm and welcome and validating you. And that feels good. But protecting your feelings is harming your soul. And what you don't know right now is God's real. You're gravitating away from atheism because your left-wing progressive friends, former friends, were trashing you and giving you a very hard time for befriending and talking civilly to people who had different beliefs than you. They were very intolerant. I agree with you. But you feel like you found friendship now with all of these people who are conservative, religious people who say they believe in God. And I'm here to say that they might believe in God at 9 o'clock in the morning, but at 10 o'clock in the morning, they question the existence of God just like you. Just like you. Rabbis, clergy, Christians don't realize he's the real deal. He's watching you. And he told me that I need to do this for you, David Rubin. David Joshua Rubin, a Jewish boy who's married to a man. So why am I doing this? Am I picking on Jews? No, I'm not. Do I have an affinity to only talk to Jews and try to save all the Jews? I have an affinity to Jews. I'm a Jew. I have Jewish children. I have a Jewish grandson. But no, I'm on fire to save everyone. I love the Jewish people. They're my family. But I love all people. And I'm told to call on you specifically because you're successful and you're famous and you're all over the internet and you're very outspoken about being gay and being married to another man. And you're also very outspoken about finding a new warm place and friendship with the religious right-wing conservatives. So I'm here to warn you, big warning, among other things that I'm going to warn you about, they are not your friends. I'm going to show you 2 video clips of you speaking to some religious right-wing conservatives, and then we'll talk some more. I'm going to hit share. And the first one that I'm going to show you is entitled, "Can Your Life Be Meaningful Without God?" No. No, no, no. There is no life without God, David Rubin. But that's not what this video is completely about. It's about you. This is for you. So let's watch a few minutes and then we'll talk a little and watch the other.
The reason I first said that I'm happy to be here with you guys is that in the last year, where now I virtually only get invited to events by conservative groups or libertarian groups for sure, but groups on the right, let's say. But I often get invited to churches. I often get invited to places of faith. Now, I know we can go through a litany of political disagreements that we may or may not have. And I absolutely know that everyone in this room would be happy to do that. And there would be nobody fighting. There would be nobody screaming. We could explore those ideas as far as we can. And then we would put it down and either agree to disagree, or maybe we'd move each other one way or another, and that would be wonderful. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that you guys here, and that generally believers right now are more tolerant. They are. It's just the reality. The people, yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause. I mean, that really is true. Who are the most intolerant people in society right now? It's the people that are constantly telling you how tolerant they are. That's the irony. It's the people that tell you you're a bunch of racists and bigots and homophobes and the rest of it. And that's the real bizarre flip that we have happening in society. And I think that is linked to either, however you want to phrase it, either a post-Christian world or a post-Judeo-Christian world or a postmodern world, however you want to define that.
I mean, to what extent?
Okay, this is the first clip. And I just want to say that, yes, the left-wing progressive people, of which I used to be part of that group too, by the way, David Rubin. I used to only vote Democratic up until Barack Obama. He scared the daylights out of me, and I've never voted again for a Democrat. The world is in chaos, and you're right, they are showing signs of intolerance because they want to be validated and accepted, and they feel under attack. That's human nature. But you're gravitating to these religious right-wing people who at their core believe in the golden rule and God and laws and being civil. But push them against the wall and test their mettle, and they will be very intolerant of you also. But it's worse than that. And I'll tell you why it's worse than that after I show you a clip of the next video where you're interviewing Dennis Prager, another nice Jewish boy.
Two things. So in terms of the gay marriage, my feeling always was I should just be treated equally under the law.
It makes perfect sense.
Period. I want to enter a contract with someone.
Right.
It happens to be a man.
Right.
You want to enter that same contract with a woman.
I totally understand that. And
Yeah.
but I knew what's going to happen. And the price is too great. So I would want the gay person to have every right. And I know this is not the same as marriage. And I know every argument against it.
Yeah.
And they're sound. They are. It's two sound arguments against the other. But if I think macro, not just micro, my concern is not just the individual, it's for the whole society. And I'm afraid the society has chosen wrong in this matter because of the gender doesn't matter issue.
So, okay, so basically I sense you don't, I don't want to say you don't particularly care, because you're a caring person.
I don't.
It doesn't bother you in the specifics of you're in my home studio, you're in my home. I live here with the man.
I am as comfortable with these two couples as with heterosexual couples.
And by the way, for the record, right before we started, you asked me if I was married. You didn't know if I was straight or gay, and I didn't sense that you cared.
Right, and then my immediate concern was, how did you meet?
Yeah,
I want to hear your romance.
Right.
I'm as interested as if it was a woman.
Right.
But
Okay, I'll stop share now. I prayed before I turned on the camera to shoot this for you, David Rubin, and I prayed that I said things in the way that could reach you to make you understand this is love. This is caring, telling you to your face that you are doomed. You are in deep trouble with our Creator. Can your life be meaningful without God? You have no life without Him. He's real. In that same video, or a different video I saw of you, there was a question, is God dead? Is God dead? I think it was the same video. No, but if you don't listen to me, if you don't go online, read this book and read what I have to say about gay marriage and homosexuality and your choices right now, there's no life for you. And that's not benign. That's frightening. That's absolutely incredibly frightening. If I don't tell you in no uncertain terms, he's watching you. He asked me to do this chinks in the armor video for you and to warn you, you will be cut off from him forever. Now that might not sound frightening to an atheist or a former atheist, but I assure you, do your due diligence, research this. It's true. When you die, the illusion is snapped. You're no longer David Rubin, who's wildly loved and accepted by the religious right-wing conservatives. You're suddenly David Joshua Rubin, who broke your covenant with God. Why can't you be married to another man and just be validated for being David Rubin in any form David Rubin decides? Because God is real and God has rules. And he designed us and created us in his image. And when you break his rules, you harm yourself. You harm everyone else. And Dennis Prager, in his infinite wisdom, is trying so hard to validate you and make you understand that he loves you and he's protecting your feelings while he's damning your soul. He's not doing you any favors. He's concerned that in schools, teachers are giving choices about their gender. They're no longer allowed to call boys and girls. They have to call the children students. And he's worried about the slippery slope. And you acknowledge you see this slippery slope. But it's worse than that. There's a true fatal outcome to you and to everyone. And Dennis Prager faces that same outcome. Why? Because he's befriending you and he's making it okay. And he wants to know about your husband as though your husband was a female. And he's making everything okay for you to be damned in the eyes of God. And for that, he will be damned also. You're both in spiritual trouble. The world is in spiritual trouble. You cannot marry another man. Why? Because Hashem said so. Why? Because it's damaging to you and your soul. Why? Because what you don't remember is, before you came here and incarnated as David Rubin, you made a promise to Hashem. You said, please let me go. Let me go and incarnate and have a life. And I promise I will live the life of David Joshua Rubin, a Jewish man. I will lead a Torah observant life. I will follow your laws. I will marry a woman. I will procreate and have children. And I will bring your godliness into this physical world. Please, Hashem, give me a blessing to go and be David Joshua Rubin. And what did you do? We know what you did. You broke your covenant with God. He's real. David Joshua Rubin. Hashem is real. All of this talk, all of these talk shows, talk. Ben Shapiro with his black kippah saying, oh yeah, I'm not coming to your wedding, but come over the next day for a barbecue, is escorting you to be damned in the eyes of God himself, cut off, removed from his book of life. If you think that's benign and you're an atheist anyway, hey, the worms are going to get me anyway. I'm just going to YOLO right to the end. It's not benign. He's real. And he had me do this video for you, for anyone who is doing what you're doing, anyone who's supporting what you're doing. Why? Why is he having me do this for you, David Joshua Rubin? He's very emotional about you. He knows who you are. He loves you, David Rubin. That's why. Hashem is pure love. He's the king, the father of all of humanity. Is God dead? Are you kidding me? God forbid. God is eternal. That's something John Lennox got right. There is no life without him. But there is life without David Rubin. And that pains him. I'm going to end with one more thought. There's a story about Abraham taking his son Yitzchak to sacrifice him to God, cut his throat. But at the last second, there was a ram in the thicket, and he was told, do not lay a hand on that child. And Yitzchak was saved from being sacrificed, killed by the hand of his own father. So what does that story tell you? It tells you that God himself would never, ever have a parent take the life of his own child. He is compassionate and loving. He would never do that to you. But if you don't heed this call and you don't straighten your life out and walk away from the life that you have right now and choose a Torah observant life and marry a woman, you are going to force Hashem to end your life. He would never do that to you. Will you do that to him? Let's see. He's very emotional about you, David Joshua Rubin. Wake up. He's watching you. Wake up. These religious right-wing conservatives, they might be kind. They might like you. They're not your friends. They're escorting you the wrong way. God bless you. Learn more. The Cliff Notes to World Redemption. Please listen. God bless you. You're a good man. Hashem says you're a mensch. You need to come the right way. You need to return to Hashem immediately.